Hey, everybody, and welcome to Crypto Wednesday. I'm Shelly Palmer. I am very happy to be back here in New York City where the temperature is a balmy 200 degrees. Life is fabulous. We are on LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and we're also on Zoom today too, so you can join us a lot of different ways. Chat's where it's at. So this is office hours. You can ask me anything. Put it in chat. Joey's standing by to throw them up so we can put them on the screen and take your questions in any order. I'm very happy to see so many of you here today. What a nice crowd. Look, this has been a really interesting experience over the last few months. We have had all kinds of interesting streaming tools that we've put in place. And now we are, I think, across the board able to have the highest quality streams at the highest possible bit rate with the highest possible audio quality and do it across a whole bunch of tools at the same time. So today is the culmination of an awful lot of experimentation. We're really excited to be here. See my friends Henry and Ettore and a whole bunch of you on Zoom, and a nice big crowd also on YouTube Live and Facebook and LinkedIn. Welcome everybody. Please check in. Tell me where you are. Tell me where you're, what the weather's like, what you do for a living. Tell each other what you do for a living so we can actually make this an interactive experience. There is so much news to cover. It is an unbelievably busy time. I'm going to start right this moment by jumping directly into let's get right into the news, because the news has been really impressive. The House Democrats today plan to close the tax loophole of all crypto. So for Crypto Wednesday, the first thing we got to talk about is this new bill that they're planning. I don't know that they're going to get it passed, but they are definitely planning it, and it is a big deal. This is the wash sale rule that has always applied to stocks, always, and all securities. What this is, let's put this as simply as I can. If you have a stock or a security and you sell it and take a loss, you have to wait 30 days before you can buy that security again. And the reason is that you don't tax loss harvest. That's what the wash rules are there to prevent. But there are no such wash rules with cryptocurrency. So let's say in this crazy volatile market, I bought Bitcoin at $50,000 a couple of weeks ago, and well, maybe in May. And then by June, it's down to 29,000, 31,000, 32,000. It's hovering there. If I sell it and take a loss, that loss I can use to offset my other cap gains. I could then buy it an hour later at, the same $30,000-ish, and I can harvest the tax loss against my other cap gains. It's a giant loophole for people who can put enough money in crypto to offset their other cap gains. And I think the House Democrats have figured this out, and they're going to go for it. So this is being planned. It is to the consternation and chagrin of those who have been tax lost harvesting. Again, I don't know that they're going to get this passed, but they're certainly going to try. If you've been following crypto at all over the last 6 to 10 weeks, we have a bunch of other things going on right now. In the new stimulus plan, or whatever we're going to call the new package, the $3.5 trillion package that's pending right now in Washington, part of that bill calls out NFTs as digital assets that would be subject to capital gains. And so we've got the undivided attention of the IRS, the SEC, and the government. They are absolutely looking at all things crypto, all things NFT, all things DeFi or decentralized finance. Welcome again, everyone. I just wanted to get that out of the way because to me that was one of the biggest things that's happened in a long time. The wash sale rules have been around in securities my whole business life, but at least as long as I've been involved in the securities or stock market or any of the financial instruments that are subject to it. But crypto has not been. And while I won't tell you about my own tax planning, I will tell you about yours. Consult your tax advisor. Now, obviously this show is not about financial advice, and I'm not a licensed financial advisor or professional, so please don't take this as financial advice, just common sense, if you will. Howie Schwartz, welcome. Thomas Herman, welcome. And welcome again to everybody who's with me on Zoom and who is on LinkedIn Live and Facebook Live. And I see a whole bunch of people everywhere. So this is fantastic. Welcome to everybody. So happy to have you here. Again, it's Ask Me Anything. So please go ahead and put your comments, questions, criticisms into chat. And we'll get Joey to pull some stuff up and make it happen. Do I need an iPhone? Do I need a new iPhone? I guess there's no way. There's no way to get away from that question, is there? Do I need a new iPhone? So as you know, by the way, it's my email address if you want to email me. You know that the iPhone 13 was announced yesterday. I probably have something we can. We can talk about it. The iPhone 13, 13 Pro Max, iPhone, like all the iPhones came out. They also came out with the new iPads, and they came out with new Apple Watch. And of course, the new iOS will be out in a little bit. Quick aside, 14.8, iOS 14.8 security update will probably show up today in your phone. Whether you're getting a new iPhone or not, do that security update. There's a 0-day, 0-click security flaw they found in iMessage. So just a quick aside, absolutely do that security update. If it shows up in your phone, do it. Just do it. Don't ask questions. And you'll be happy you did. 0-day updates happen a lot. 0-click security flaws rarely happen. What that means is you don't have to do anything for the malware to infect your device. So forewarned is forearmed. Anyway, they came out with the new iPhones. New iPhones, what do we have? What are they showing? They've got a little better camera, a little better battery life, a little better screen. It's iterative. Do you need a new iPhone? No, you don't. Do you need an iPhone 13? No. If you have an iPhone 12, you absolutely do not need an iPhone 13. You don't. If you need a phone, this is a great one to buy. They've never made a better iPhone. I've definitely never made a better iPhone, but there's no reason to run out and take your 12 and turn it into a 13. I'm on the new phone every year plan from Apple. I think Verizon's new phone every year plan is actually better than the Apple new phone every year. The Apple plan comes with Apple Care, which makes sense, but Verizon, in order to incentivize you to do it, has a slightly better care plan. I think they cover you if you lose your phone or if it's stolen. It's a particularly good plan. So I think if I had a way out of the Apple plan other than buying the phone or waiting out the 2 years, neither of which are interesting options to me financially, I'd switch to the Verizon plan. So if you're doing it to begin with, look at the Verizon new phone every year. Then you're paying $50, $60, $70 a month, depending on the storage you put in the iPhone. And you don't think about it. They just send you a new phone every year and you're always on the latest phone. Would I buy an iPhone right now, like for cash, like for $1,500? No, not if you have a 12. If you have an 11, it's 50-50. If you have anything earlier than an 11, of course, you should update to the latest device because it's an order of magnitude better. Hopefully, the 13 will have a better battery life than the 12. The iPhone 12 across the board, every one of those devices was objectively worse from a battery life perspective than the iPhone 11 counterpart. I'm hoping that the 13, they're touting an extra 2.5 hours of battery life. Let's see if it's really true. What else happened? Oh, you know what I liked a lot? I don't know if you will too. I've always been a fan of the iPad mini. That's always been a favorite of mine. And I'm pretty sure that I'm in love with the new iPad mini. I'm pretty sure I'm in love with it. I don't know that that it's a guarantee that I'm in love with it, but I'm going to order one because I just like the way it looks. It seems to have all of the... It seems to have all the toys and bells and whistles that I'd want it to have. I really love, and I do mean I really love, my 12-inch iPad, all singing, all dancing model. I have the one older than the newest one. I bought the newest one for my mother and didn't decide to upgrade for myself. I don't think I'm going to upgrade to the top-of-the-line iPad, but I am looking at the iPad mini as something that I'm going to get. I like it as a replacement for, and believe me, they're not analogous price-wise, for my Kindle. I have a Kindle Paperwhite that I use all the time, and I love the e-ink, and in the summer it's great to read with. but I always miss the fact that I can't really do email on it. I can't really browse the web on it. And you're holding something in your hand and you're wherever you are and you kind of like you're done reading and you want to do something else. The idea of putting the device down, picking up your phone, like, hey, if I'm going to read on something that's comfortable to read on, and I like that size, the form factor of the iPad mini, you might too. That was one of the nicest things they did. I was pretty excited about it. So the other thing they did, the Apple Watch is about a millimeter bigger. It's squared off a little bit more like the iPhone designs are now. It's got better battery life. The screen is bigger. You're actually going to be able to do a little bit of keyboarding on the phone. They've demonstrated that. I don't know how successful anyone's going to be at that. It's the #1 selling smartwatch in the world. Apple Health is clearly where their focus is, and health and fitness. They've added some other stuff. It was a pretty decent set of announcements. It's epically produced, like all the things in Cupertino are epically produced. That's my whole Apple story. I don't have much else to talk about from an Apple world. Let's see what else we have here. Questions. Okay. I tried to list an NFT on FTX and got rejected with no reason. Have you heard any individual success stories listing NFTs on the new FTX NFT? No, I have not. And everyone's having the same exact kind of silliness that you've described here. I've done that again. That's me. Yeah, FTX. First of all, it's not available in every state. So depending on where you are in the United States, you may or may not be able to get to it. They have not worked the kinks out. I immediately went there the moment it was announced. We tried to do some listings. It's clunky. I got to give these guys a couple weeks to get their act together. It's not where it should be. So yeah, I know that is not a unique problem, Tom H. And I think you can expect this to be clunky for a while. Next question we have up here. I wrote recently, I can't really do this. You wrote recently that we are underpaid workers for the data elite. Is this similar or different to the argument from saying that we should be considered the owners of the data we create? What an amazingly good question that is. For those of you who don't subscribe to my daily newsletter or don't get my thought leadership stuff on Sundays, and again, you can actually, I meant to say you can go here to shellypalmer.com and go and subscribe. It's free. We put it out every day. I wrote an article a couple of years ago on Labor Day weekend, and I reprised it for this Labor Day because, to be fair, I wanted to take Labor Day off. And it was an article that tried to look at the National Labor Relations Act as maybe a way to get data sovereignty and data privacy in the hands of the citizens. And my thesis was that we are not the product, which is what you always hear, right? When someone says if something's free, you're the product. That's the way everyone describes it. And if you don't know what the product is, it's you and your data and your behaviors. And I could argue that that's true at some level. It is true at some level. But I wanted to take it a step further and say, well, I don't know that we're the product. I believe, and that's what this article is about, and it's at shellypalmer.com. It's from the Sunday before Labor Day, that we are actually workers in the digital minds of Google and Facebook and Amazon and all the data elite. So it is by our labor that we create the raw materials that they then refine into something they can transfer into wealth. And under that circumstance, looking at the National Labor Relations Act and looking at, and I've been a card-carrying member of Local 802, the musicians union, since I'm 12 years old. I've been in SAG and AFTRA since age 18, and now it's all one union, SAG-AFTRA, but AFM, I'm still a card-carrying member of two unions, SAG-AFTRA and the AFM, Local 802, and they are organized labor. So I thought, okay, is there some warped way where we, all the people who create data every single day for the data elite, we're doing the work, maybe we should collectively bargain for the value, because my data, the Shelly Palmer data my sovereign data is worthless. But if I put it together with all of your data, then it's really cool. Like, then I have something. So that's interesting to me, right? So that's the thesis of the article. And I guess the question that Frank is asking, if I'm reading it, I'll put it back up here for you if you can read it, is, are we the owners of the data we create? Of course, we're the owners of the data we create. I think that goes without saying. I think we clearly own it unless we give our rights to that data away, which we tend to do in the EULAs, the user license agreements. We tell the data elite, you, data elite, are entitled to all of my data based on your privacy policy and whatever you've published here. So, yeah, that's sort of where we are in the world right now. We're at a place where, yes, we own our data, but we don't really, because we freely give it away. And it's not so meaningful in and of itself, which is why you're okay giving it away, right? Data is more powerful in the presence of other data, but really a cluster of potential buyers is much more important. And I think if you want to spin it a different way, and Frank, it's such a good question. If you want to spin it a slightly different way, you could say that there was a time where marketers would only concentrate on great storytelling and the emotional connection that they could have with you. And the best marketers in the world were great at it. Nike is amazing. I mean, you're looking at this, everyone's an athlete and you're an athlete and you want to be part of that and you associate with it and you get an adrenaline rush just watching this stuff. There used to be beer commercials that would make you cry. I mean, that literally greatest storytelling in 30 seconds. Amazing stuff. But over the last 5-7 years, digital marketers, data-driven marketers, evidence-based decision marketers have figured out that correlation is better than causation or narration for most of the kinds of ads they need to surface digitally. So if you're going to do a transactional ad, meaning click here, buy now, then if you were to do some mathematics that said, when these three things happen, I'm 80% confident this fourth thing's going to happen, or when these three things happen, I've got a 62% assurity that 74% of the people are going to click here. You take that to the bank. That data is absolutely, you bank that data. So while the narrative may be nice and fuzzy and emotional, you might not be able to tie that narrative back to a sale. But if you say when these three things happen, there's some percentage chance that the fourth thing is going to happen and the fourth thing gets you paid. That's why the data collectively makes a lot of difference now. And that's why it has more value to a Google, to a Facebook, to an Amazon, to a Netflix, to a Alibaba, to a Tencent than it does to anyone else. And again, we're enriching them by doing the work. So I thought we could unionize and then collectively bargain for the value. There's a new thing coming. It's not really that new, but you might not be familiar with it. It's called SSI. If you are, you can write in chat that you're familiar with it and maybe talk about your expertise. SSI, Self-Sovereign Identity. It's this concept that you do own your data. And it's particularly good in a DeFi or blockchain environment because you can craft a place to put metadata on a blockchain. You could even build an NFT for yourself that was your SSI, your self-sovereign identity. And you could then determine via smart contract what data you would reveal. So think about it this way. Let's say you had a digital ID that was blockchain based. That was easy to look up in a blockchain explorer of some kind. And you're going to a bar. And the rules in the state where the bar is located, or the city where the bar is located, are that you must be over the age of 21 to enter the bar. Now, they don't need to know if you're male or female. They don't need to know your address. They don't need to know your income. They don't need to know what class or classification or cluster your marketing preferences fall into. They simply need to know that you are over the age of 21, that you have reached the age of majority and therefore can legally walk into the bar. With a universal SSI schema, or even just a good SSI schema that enough people were using, you could scan somebody's barcode as they walked up to the bar, rather than me handing you my driver's license, which kind of forces you, the bouncer, to look at my name, my address. You're going to decide if I'm male or female to determine if this ID in the picture, is this really me? But if I'm holding a verifiable, non-fungible token that is my SSI, and you can verify that it's me, this is mine, I'm me, and I've now met the criteria. There's a lot of value in controlling your data that way. If you guys don't have a MetaMask wallet or a browser-based wallet, either the Chrome extension for Coinbase wallet or MetaMask, I'm just putting MetaMask in there because it's an easy one. Do yourself a favor, just so you really understand where this could go and how interesting it is. MetaMask is just super easy, and it's free and it's cheap. Get yourself $50 worth of ETH, and get a MetaMask wallet. Understand the pain points of doing a 12 seed security in a digital wallet, in a crypto wallet. But then what I want you to do is go over to like OpenSea, or pretty much any place that they buy and sell NFTs, but where there's a digital wallet like MetaMask that they want you to identify with. What becomes fascinating is, and OpenSea, MetaMask, and you, that little ecosystem you will have created, is exemplary of what a Web 2.0, Web 3.0 intersected SSI database world could look like, where next time you go to OpenSea, there's no login. It recognizes your MetaMask. It knows it's you. It's already attached. You want to buy or sell something? You want to list something? You just go. So the whole concept of OAuth, the whole concept of passwords and logging in, like all that's gone. Your wallet is connected to the marketplace, and you are your wallet. Now, there's all kinds of dangerous stuff that happens there. You should have to log into your wallet. I hope you do. You put good security on your wallet. But think about a world where you would happen upon a website, it would understand who you are, and you would instantly be tied into it, be authenticated. They'd know it's you. So this is this concept of self-sovereign identity, or identifying with your digital wallet. And there, controlling your data, the data that you would generate by your behaviors, does become somewhat more anonymized. Your wallet is hashed, unless there's a KYC, know your customer issue with the exchange you're on. You can be as anonymous as you want to be. So there's some goodness in there, and I think it would behoove everyone who's listening, if you're interested in DeFi and Web 3.0 and where the intersection of Web 2.0 and Web 3.0 are going to be, and how this is all going to feel. One of the easy experiments you can do is to go get like MetaMask or a Coinbase wallet extension for your browser and log in to one of the NFT sites. You don't need to buy anything, you just need to be prepped to buy it, so that that you understand where that is. And I think you'll enjoy that knowledge. I think that will really help you emotionalize and understand what's coming. Next question. I assume you saw, Jeffrey B., I assume you saw they changed NAB to a full virtual conference. I did see that. It was inevitable. There was no way that was going to happen other than that. We are still planning CES in January, in person, and of course virtually. We've got amazing plans for a virtual CES. We will do a good solid job for NAB virtually also, as we did every year. We always cover the NAB show, and we will cover it this year the same way. It'll be all virtual. I'm excited about the fact that they're going to have at least some part of the conference. The broadcast world has changed so much in the last 12 to 18 months, it's almost unrecognizable. If there was ever a need to get everyone together to talk, it would be now. So I hope that they're able to do a good job with their virtual conference. We are very excited about CES at the moment in January. It is happening in Las Vegas as well as virtually. And we're going to do both. And we're going to do both with absolutely all our might. We just are. Just for fun, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they're bringing back the woolly mammoth. This would not be a story. This would just be sci-fi if a guy named George Church was not involved in this project. They raised $15 million to do it. That's exciting. Okay, I'm glad they raised $15 million to do it, but that's not the part that got me going. The part that got me going was that George Church is involved. You don't know George Church's name. He is one of the most controversial, outspoken, interesting, colorful figures in the world of genetic engineering. You owe it to yourself to learn about George Church and his exploits and the crazy world of George Church. Like I said, if he were not involved in this, if his name wasn't prominently displayed in the press release, the woolly mammoth thing, wouldn't matter to me. But it does, because if it can get done, he's a guy who might be able to get it done. I don't know if we should. I'd love you to weigh in on this. Should we bring back the woolly mammoth? Is that the first thing human beings should do with the power to reanimate the dead? And Baron von Frankenstein, with all deference to Mel Brooks and Young Frankenstein, Froderick Frankenstein could do it. Can George Church? And should we? I'd love to understand that. I don't really know what the ethics around that are. I don't know if the woolly mammoths are supposed to rest in peace, if they're extinct because they're supposed to be, or if we're supposed to bring them back. And if we do bring them back, what does that actually mean? Like, what does back mean? What about the ecosystem that supported them? It was a different time. All those Jurassic Park questions come to mind. It's fascinating to me. Totally fascinating. We have another question. Keep those questions coming. I love these questions today. The NFT world seems like the wild, wild west. Where do you see this will go over the next 12 to 24 months? From Manfred A. on YouTube. All right. My crystal ball is no better than anybody else's. I promise you that I don't know any more than anyone else does about the future. But OpenSea has the same number of users this week that last week, and their numbers are down 50%. Is that because there's been some crypto whale manipulation? Is that because people are losing interest? Degenerative Apes has taken the I think the high bar this week. $1 million Degen Ape was sold as opposed to Bored Apes. Degen Apes is a slightly different NFT collection. Someone paid $1 million for one this week. But still, the numbers are down about 50 points off the previous week. They jump around a little bit. I think it's important for us to understand that when widgets started, every single company in our client roster, and then every company that wasn't on our client roster, was compelled to do widgets. Everybody wanted widgets. Everybody needed a widget. Everybody wanted a widget. There was no version of the world where a company existed where they didn't have a widget. Prior to that, everybody had a website. You had to have a website. Good, bad, or indifferent. You had to have one. Then, when apps started, everybody wanted an app. Not a mobile web experience, not a database service. Everybody had to have an app. And you would say to them, it's going to cost you $2 to get someone to download your app, and then it's going to cost you another $5 to get them to use it. And by the way, if they don't use it, what are you doing? Like, the download is not the win. What are you doing? And the answer would be across the board, we got to have it. Over the last 6 to 10 months, every human being I know in the world has called us up and said we want to do NFTs. Everybody. Not a few, not some, all, 100%. All the clients, all the non-clients, every inbound. NFTs get prominently mentioned. What does that say for the next 12 months? It says there's going to be a shakeout. It says that the value created by NFTs is going to find its own level, like all things do. Real value that's created will always be real value. Pet rocks will always be pet rocks. And there's always a fad. There's always a hype cycle. And so while I cannot tell the future any better than anyone else, and I wouldn't pretend to, I'm not a futurist in any way. I always know the future, but everybody knows the future. What we don't know is the timing. Will there be flying cars? Absolutely. Will there be artificial people? Yes. Will there be fill in the blank? The only thing I don't think there's going to be anytime soon is faster than light travel or teleportation. And the only thing that makes me think that Star Trek teleportation and faster than light travel aren't possible is the physics don't add up. But anything else you can think up, yeah, it's going to happen. When? I don't know. Soon. Tomorrow? Maybe. 20 years? You don't know the timing, but you know that value will be found. So we know that things of real value. And I also believe that NFTs are not a new store of value. They're a new asset class that represent a store of value. And the value is created by one thing and one thing only: information asymmetry amongst the potential buyers and sellers. The marketplace for anything is, I know that you know that I know that you do. Nobody buys a stock today at the price it's at for the stock. That's not done. You're buying the stock today at a price believing you will sell it for more later. And you have an idea of how much more that's going to be, and you have a time horizon on it. You're not buying the stock today. Stock has no value to you today. You have a belief system about you, and the person selling it believes that today is the day they need to sell it. And the information asymmetry, what you know and what they know, what you think you know, what they think they know, that creates the marketplace. So this asset class, NFT, is fascinating, completely fascinating. But the value created is not new. If you believe that this video of a hat trick in a hockey game is valuable and you want to own it, and are you buying it for its collectible value today? Or are you buying it believing that sometime in the future someone will pay you more? Or that it will increase in value and that you'll have an asset that you can leverage later? What is your belief? Marketplaces are marketplaces. This is just a way, and non-fungible token, an NFT is just a way to exchange value that's part of a belief system. By the way, so is the US dollar. So is everything of value. But what we know is that things are only worth, not what we say they're worth, things are only worth what someone's willing to pay for it today, right now. I could tell you what my house is worth according to Zillow. That doesn't mean I could get it. I might be able to get a lot more. I might be able to get a lot less. It's what is someone willing to write a check for today? And how motivated a seller am I? If you need to liquidate your NFTs today, they're going to be worth something. Can you wait till the market's really high? Can you wait till the crypto market has changed to a point where that crypto has more value to you? These are all questions no one can answer for everybody. And so it's very, very difficult to talk about NFTs as having individual value. And I think I want to leave this subject, but I want to leave you with one thought. What had the value? The song, well, I'll put it differently. The movie Star Wars, the movie Star Wars on VHS, the movie Star Wars on optical disc, the movie Star Wars on DVD, the movie Star Wars in HD download, the movie Star Wars in HD stream, the movie Star Wars in 4K stream, the movie Star Wars in 4K download. Which of those Star Wars is more valuable? And the answer is the form factors don't matter. The movie is the movie. So if the NFT represents something that someone will pay for, its value is whatever that thing is worth in the belief system of the person who's the buyer. That's it. There is nothing else to that. And anyone who's trying to make it more complicated than it's only worth the people who are willing to pay for it is probably thinking about it the wrong way. That's my own little 2 cents on that. There are economists who've written a billion books about this, gabillion books. I'm not one of them. I'm not an economist, but this is what we know about markets, and it's what we know about content. And NFTs represent content. Let's take another question. Isn't anything digital trackable, though? Oh, yes. So, here you go. Digital. The idea that Bitcoin and that's from Adam G. Adam, it's a great question, and it's an important statement, and you can hide in plain sight. Bitcoin wallet is visible on the blockchain. Any currency, other than like Monero, which is a real privacy coin, but anything that's not a privacy coin, and Monero is, I guess Zcash falls in there, but Monero is really the big time privacy coin. But anything that's ETH, Matic, ADA, it doesn't matter what, Doge, Litecoin, you transact in it, so everyone can see the wallet. So that's why Revil showed up this weekend again, and they're renting out their ransomware software. But if you charge somebody ransomware and they put it in a digital wallet, the FBI is going to sit on that wallet and watch it. Every dollar goes in and out, every coin goes in and out of that wallet. The FBI and every other law enforcement organization is going to watch. So, yeah, you're anonymous, but the wallet is well understood. We put the $60 million of ransom in that wallet. How are you getting it out of that wallet? A wallet's on a blockchain. Every one of those coins is tainted. That's stolen money. It's fully identifiable. You may not be, but it is. So how valuable is that? The crooks are finding out it's a lot less valuable than they thought. And so, yeah, there's... I actually don't know how to pronounce this word. I know how to pronounce the word anonymous. If you are pseudonymous, like if you're a pseudonym and anonymous, I don't actually know how to pronounce it. I'm going to go figure out how to pronounce that. But you are not anonymous. You have a secret identity, but you're not anonymous. The wallet's right there in plain sight. So it is a proxy for you, whether you know it or not. So if you think you're hiding, the only currency you're hiding with at all right now, that you can hide with at all, is Monero. You can do a really private transaction in Monero. Because of that, it's almost it's not listed in most of the exchanges that are licensed and regulated in the United States. It's a little hard to come by. And you can put in an anonymous wallet. If you've got a wallet like Koinami, you can keep that pretty anonymous. So your Monero and your Koinami wallet, yeah, I think you can put Monero and Koinami. I have to think. Yeah, I think you can. I mean, you can hide some of this stuff, but Bitcoin, ETH, Matic, ADA, Doge, Lite, Ripple. I mean, you go down the big currencies. Everybody knows where they are all the time. All the time. Shelly, favorite tools, tactics for events that are all virtual? Oh, nice question, EB. Nice question. So, for me, they come in sizes. If I'm doing something small, I like Zoom because everyone knows how to use it. So if there's under 300 people, Zoom events, Zoom rooms, pretty good. I'm pretty high on it for that. If I'm doing a big thing, 20,000, 100,000 people, 50,000, 70,000, this is not a trick answer. Verizon owns Blue Jeans, and although Blue Jeans is a paid version of Zoom, there's no free version. It's sort of aimed at corporate. They have a thing called Blue Jeans Events. Blue Jeans Events is a different product than Blue Jeans, and it is a robust event software, virtual event software that you could put 100 to 150,000 people in an event at the same time. They're on the Verizon network with really good network topology, extraordinarily good video, the bandwidth that the way that Verizon handles the bandwidth is spectacular. We've had nothing but great results with big all hands meetings where we've had 50, 60, 70,000 global attendees in a meeting. And so it's got a green room. It's got some other stuff. You should just check it out. If you're trying to do something really big, you have to be a producer like anybody else. Like any one of these tools will work. I mean, some of them suck, but any one of these tools will work. The big issue is how easily can you create the content? And the mistake people are making is online learning and online teaching are different. A virtual event, a video of an event, and an in-person event are three different things. So if you go to an in-person speech, they'll have an IMAG, probably if it's a large auditorium. It's 3,000 people in the auditorium. And IMAG is there's a camera that's on the speaker, and the speaker's on the big monitors so that people in the back can see, because in a 3,000 person auditorium, the speaker is this big at the podium. And so you want to, get them so that everyone can see, and the audio is good, and there's good sound reinforcement, really good live sound. It's generally not stereo. It's generally either binaural or monophonic, because if you're sitting in the left wing or the right wing, or you're way to the left or right of the auditorium, you can't make someone experience stereo there from the stage. And so the experience is monophonic. There's no sense of three dimensions in the room, but your brain does do that automatically because your ears are separated by your head, so sound bounces off the wall that's close to you if you're sitting on the left side, and you kind of know spatially where you are. Humans are good at that. So that's the experience of being in a 3,000 person auditorium, and that's how you would sound reinforce, and that's how you would visually reinforce that live experience. To get someone at home in the old days, you might stream the IMAG because that's just a straight cover shot of the speaker, so that's okay. And maybe you put their PowerPoint up and interchange it. Do you have reaction shots from the audience? Are we trying to Is that the right way to tell this story? Is it just a proscenium one-to-many experience? Because that's one way to produce. But when you create a true virtual event, and I want someone to experience it. Right now I'm just streaming. I'm sitting here talking. But I'm a certain size. And the reason I'm a certain size is I know you're watching me on Zoom, so I'm this big, or YouTube Live, I'm this big. I'm in the corner of your screen. I'm on your phone. So I'm making myself full screen so that you have a shot. I'm pretending that Zoom is a close-up medium. And then if I could sit farther back, I can get farther away. All that does is make it harder for you to understand any sort of facial movement. I don't have the use of my hands. I don't have body language now because of where I am. And if I took what's known as a Hollywood shot, cut myself off at the knees, you wouldn't really have a good understanding of what I was doing. And I would have to be very theatrical in order for you to understand. So this is the right framing. So learning to frame, and then do I want to have chat brought in? Do I want to be able to quickly put up a question and say, okay, this is the question, people at home, that we're talking about? So do I want to have the ability to get graphics up really easily? And when I'm done with the graphic, do I want to be able to sting back and forth between stuff? Do I have like a demo camera? Am I going to say, all right, let me sting to my demo camera. All right, let me sting back. I want to come back. Like, do I want to add some production value that makes that feel right? So a virtual event versus an in-person event versus an event you're covering are three different things. And so when you choose a tool to do this, from my perspective as a producer, you want to make sure that you have a production concept that covers the use case. If I'm building a virtual event, then I'm going to want audience interaction, and I'm going to want ways for, like, you're all conversing in chat. In the best of all worlds, I would have some software together, and we haven't written it, but we should, where I take Zoom, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live and put all those chats into one chat client, and all of you get to see it. I could ask you all to be on Discord. I could ask you all to be on Intercom. We could do this on Twitter. So, but I could make you all log into a certain thing. But right now, pulling all those together are hard. So you want to be on one platform where the whole audience is, and then you can incorporate all these tools, tips, and tricks. This is production concept, and a lot of people aren't thinking that deeply about it, and they should. And so my favorite tools are a combination of the streaming software. In this case, you have to fit the right streaming software to your use case. The Blue Jeans events software is great if you've got a giant, literally anything over 500 people, you want to be looking at that. If you're doing anything under 500 people, you can get it done on Zoom. Look, you can get it done on Blue Jeans also. You can get it done on Teams. It's not my favorite. You can get it done on WebEx. It's really not my favorite, but you can get it done. What are you feeding it with? How are you setting it up? How are you framing the shots? How are you putting people in a green room? How are they going to interact? Will the speakers have a chance to speak with one another? And can they have that experience, right? A lot of times when I'm called as a speaker, I'm more interested in the green room than I am the panel on stage. Do I give that experience to my speakers? So I want to choose software that's going to help me do that. So that's some of the decision tree. We can help you with that. Thanks for asking the question. It's a question comes up a lot. It doesn't come up enough as often as it should, because a lot of people don't think about it that way. We're coming towards the end of this. I want to just, because we want to stop at 1 o'clock, I want to just bring up a couple of things that we have going on. On Tuesdays, we drop Tech Stream with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett. This is my favorite thing to do during the week, other than this. Tech Stream is basically the pop culture you love and the tech you dream about. Seth and I just wax poetic about fun stuff, and he's amazing. He has a couple other podcasts that are about like Comic-Con stuff and sports, and he's so well-rounded in pop culture, and we get a chance to talk about that in the context of tech. So you might like it. It's an Apple and Spotify and Google and also Amazon podcasts too, so it's there. Also, we've been asking everyone to post all comments from my daily emails in PGX, our private social network. It's about 3,100 people strong right now. It's such a wonderful group of people. The conversations are fantastic. You're all invited to join. If you are on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, in the description, you will find a link that will get you immediately into the network, because if you're listening this far into this particular stream, you're definitely welcome to join us on PGX. And just lastly, although it's not number one anymore, it had been a number one bestseller for quite some time, the Blockchain Ebook is a really nice way to start your journey. It's really cheap, and I'm donating the proceeds to Girls Who Code. There is a print book. A lot of people asked for it. I'm going to revise the print book this week because what I learned, and I was admonished, and I was yelled at, and I got a negative feedback when we made the print book. My bad. we left the click here for info stuff in there because we just made it so quickly. And that's just, I got called out on that, and I deserve the 1 star for that. So whoever you did, that reviewer, A, you're right, and B, we're going to fix it. My bad, all bad. Other than that, I want to just thank everyone for being here. It's 12:59 and 30 seconds. In the last 30 seconds, I'll tell you that I am super happy to be back. I'm excited that everyone was here today. What a nice crowd an amazing crowd on YouTube, and a wonderful crowd on LinkedIn, and all of you on Zoom. Thank you for being here. We're going to do this every Wednesday because I like doing this every Wednesday. If there's stuff you want me to cover, whatever it is, you know how to get me. It's Shelly at shellypalmer.com. Please just send me an email. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you might have. You got a crypto project you want to talk about, or you just want to vet something. We're here to help at all times. And with that, I will thank you very, very much for spending this 45 minutes with me, and we will see you next time.